Hello and welcome to MARAT'S Kitchen. Thank you for joining me. Today's episode continues on the series of my travels through Israel. And one of the most favorite things that I've tried was, of course, falafel. Falafel seems to be pretty unique elsewhere in the world, but in Israel, it's in every single corner and they're all really delicious. Of course, if you talk to your friends and neighbors, they'll take you to their favorite one. So, based on the favorite one that I went to, here's a recipe that I'd love to share with you. Today's falafel, it's very simple to make and it's very delicious. And I guarantee it's going to become a favorite in your kitchen very quickly. It's simply putting all the ingredients together in a food processor, processing everything, and then mixing it into little falafel balls and deep frying them. So now that you know the process, let's quickly go over the ingredients before we add them into the food processor and start the process of making them. So we have one small onion, or if you have a large yellow onion, you simply cut that in half. Parsley, which usually comes in about small bunches. Parsley is one of those things that I like to have my falafel balls nice and green on the inside. And once you add them and mix them into the food processor with all the ingredients, you can choose to add more if you like. This is a small bunch of curly parsley. This is about 1 pound of chickpeas. Now the chickpeas, they have to be soaked overnight for at least 12 hours. And it's always best to buy the dry chickpeas instead of the canned ones, because otherwise the canned ones are too soft and you definitely won't get the consistency you're looking for when making the falafel balls at home. Now most ingredients call for 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. I love as much garlic as I can put into any food. And the recipe that I learned also requires quite a bit of garlic. I have about 6 or 7 cloves, small cloves of garlic here, but you can choose to add a little less or more depending on your taste. I have olive oil. You can also use vegetable oil, canola oil for deep frying. I use olive oil. I use olive oil for just about all my cooking needs. So that is also up to you and an option. And also now let's go with the spices. The spices are simple and they're also available at your nearest grocery store. These are your everyday spices and these are the ones that are true to Mediterranean food. We have coriander, za'atar, which is a staple in every Israeli's home, black pepper, cumin, and you can add either cayenne powder or chili powder. It's totally up to you. That's optional. And we have baking soda. Now baking soda is optional as well, but I find, and from the recipe that I learned in Israel, that they do make the falafel balls a little bit fluffier, so I strongly recommend it, but it is an option for you. And about 2 tablespoons of regular white flour, okay? And then you're gonna add salt and pepper to taste. And that's it. Now we're gonna add all of these ingredients to our food processor. Let me show you how I make it. Okay. So I've taken you to our food processor and I'll show you how easy it is to make your own falafel at home. Food has to be fun to prepare. Not only the physical form of it, but you have to cook with your soul. When you cook with your soul and you put a lot of love into it, your guests are going to love it as much as you're enthusiastic about it. And that's how I'm enthusiastic about these falafel ball recipes. So you see I've added the chickpeas, the onions, and the garlic. And here are all the spices and the baking soda that I showed you earlier. That's all going inside, just like that. And then we're adding our parsley. And then finally, a little bit of our flour. Now we're going to put our lid on for the food processor and just process that together. As you can see, I've processed it 3/4 of the way. You can still see a few little whole chickpeas. You want to make sure you blend that very well before you continue. Okay, now that we have our mixture all ready to go, we're going to start forming our falafel balls into balls. So I like to put a little bit of water to the side just to wet my hands just a little bit. Makes it a little bit easier to roll the falafel balls so it doesn't really get stuck to your hands. And you want to make them about 1 inch by 1 inch. Now you don't want to wet your hands too much. If the batter is too soft, it's just going to fall apart on you. and it's going to fall apart in the hot oil. But about like this big, which is about 1 inch or a little bit less than 1 inch of a falafel ball. If you wet your hands once, should be enough for for a few of the falafel balls before you decide to wet your hands again if you like. And that's it. And you've got these beautiful falafel balls. Now you don't want to make it too dense, otherwise they'll tend to not be ready once you fry them. They'll look crispy on the outside, but they'll be raw on the inside. So when you roll them, you want to roll them nice and light. You want them to be nice and fluffy. The baking soda together with how you pack them together will ultimately determine how fluffy and how soft and delicious the falafel balls are, and how ready they are with when you deep fry them. Now you'd like the oil to be at about 375 degrees. If you don't have a thermometer, just wait till you see bubbles form in the oil, and then you know that's hot. If you're a professional chef, you can do the hand test, put your hand very close to the oil, but that's after 30 years of experience. But you can always try by putting one falafel ball in the oil, and if you see bubbles form around it the way you're seeing right now, then you know the oil is hot enough for you to continue adding more falafel balls. Now you want to put it at about medium high, and the oil should go to about 3/4 up the falafel balls. You're going to wait for about 2 minutes or so to fry them this way. Then you can flip them over and wait for another 2 minutes, and try not to fidget with them too much, because until they're nicely browned and cooked, they can fall apart on you. So here we are, finished with our falafel balls. They turned out extraordinary, exactly how I imagined them. They're golden brown on the outside, they're nice and soft on the inside, and it really took almost no time to make. It was the ingredients are easy. To execute the process of making them was quite easy, and the final product is super, super delicious. So it's all about simple ingredients with the simple techniques that creates such delicious food that anybody can make at home, and I encourage you to make it at home. Thank you for joining me in MARAT'S kitchen. I love it when you come into my kitchen and I can show you the kinds of foods that I make for my friends and family. Falafels are used to make falafel together with pita, and in Israel they take a pita, mix it with, put some hummus inside and something called amba, and together with some pickled vegetables, they put that inside a pita and fill it up with falafel balls. But that's for another video. Join me in all the new videos that are coming up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you always know when a new video is up and coming, and you don't want to miss any one of them, because there's lots of delicious secrets that are coming up, and I'd love you to be part of it. Thank you for joining me in MARAT'S kitchen. Until next time.